Hey everybody, welcome into the Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show. It's our Gamer Tuesday show with Grayson Hamilton, our gamer correspondent, and a special additional treat. We're going to have Charles Tendell, no, is with us. And also, we have OriginPC with us here. And OriginPC makes, these incredibly fast gamer computer systems. I know Ben has one. Eddie, I think you met Ben when he went down to your place there for the kind of looking everything over. It was about 2 or 3 years ago, Eddie?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a while, but
How was you? He said, "Oh, tell Eddie I said hi." So okay, there.
nice. I'm flattered that he remembers me.
So anyway, we're all set.
3 minutes until showtime.
And we'll be starting in 3 minutes. So
Okay.
sit back, relax, and everybody, and enjoy the show as we get started.
Oh, Craig,
Yeah.
I sent an email to what's her name over for Black Hat and DEFCON.
I saw, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good.
In case she reaches out to you, but let's.
Yeah, I'll say Charles who?
Oh. And currently crashing the Computer America website. All right, I've got all my bags.
Are packed, ready to go.
Yep, because I'm leaving on a Percocet. Don't know if I'll be back again. Yeah.
2 minutes until showtime.
Oh boy. Oh, it's been a long day.
Yeah, that it has. Hey, Dee, come here for a second, please.
Tell Dee I said hi.
Craig says hi.
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 I'm...
No, we can't hear you. You've muted your mic or something.
Yes, I did that on purpose.
1 minute until showtime.
Oh boy. One whole minute until showtime. Is that a dog tag around your neck? What is that?
It is, actually. On one side it says Army Strong, and then you rotate it over, it says Dad.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Not your actual dog tags, then.
No. I gave those up many years ago.
You what? You have them, don't you?
Yeah, I gave those up many years ago, though.
Oh. Origin PC?
Yes.
No, it's
How did that woman get our address?
OWC? Other World
No.
Your show will go
Here we go.
live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live. It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host,
The great and powerful Craig Crossman.
Not. Not. Oh, you use that so sporadically. And I am your co-host, slightly medicated more than normal, certified ethical hacker Charles Tendell.
Yeah. So how are you faring tonight? This is the fourth day now after you've had all 4 of your wisdom teeth extracted, and you had a busy day and you couldn't take the Percocet, huh?
Yeah, we ended up leaving it in the office because we were rushing out the door to get to a conference. Went well. The conference went well. I mistakenly thought that chicken was going to be more tender or the appropriate thing to eat. That was wrong. And then, right subsequently after lunch, continued to talk to the people. And then got a phone call from my body shop saying, hey, your car is ready to be picked up. So we had to organize that and get the car back home. And then we got here and had a bunch of other running arounds to do because I'm flying out at 6 o'clock in the morning to Wisconsin. And it just didn't have an opportunity to just pop the pill and go, and I was in pain subsequently.
Now, Jonathan in the chat room says for some reason my audio is barely coming through the air, so I'm not sure what. You're hearing me clearly, right? Everybody's hearing me.
I hear you fine, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what that is. Strange. Anyway, everything looks normal here, so we'll just go with it. Jonathan in the chat room, if it still sounds lower, but does Charles sound louder than me? I'm not sure what it is, but
I'm always louder than you.
Yeah, you are always louder than me. But anyway, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show, and it is the second Tuesday of the month. That means it's our Gamer Tuesday show.
Yay.
Exactly. That was an enthusiastic yay.
Yay. You got mail. Yay.
Okay. Oh, he says my voice is fine. This is the intro that I played. Well, okay. All right. Well, anyhow, it is Gamer Tuesday, and of course, normally when we have a Gamer Tuesday, we have our gamer correspondent, Grayson Hamilton. He's our Computer America. Gray actually recently completed and received his master's degree of journalism from the University of Texas at Austin. He's actively pursuing a career in video game journalism. Gray does a majority of his writing for the Gamer Studio website, which you can read at thegamerstudio.com. He also writes for the San Antonio Current's online blog, and his section is labeled The People's Gamer. He's an experienced game enthusiast and author who gives us his viewpoints when it comes to computers and set-top games. Gray, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Hey, Craig. It is always a pleasure to be back. Charles, I'm glad to see that you're doing better.
Thank you.
Hope the mending of the wisdom teeth continues forward.
Yeah,
But I can help you
drugs.
out with the talking points at least tonight, so we can give your jaw a bit of a rest.
Yay! Or I'm just going to sit here and not move my mouth and be like, I'm Batman.
Yes, the ventriloquism. Now, what we're doing here, this particular show, is we're also inviting a guest for the first hour of the program, and our guest this hour appropriately is from OriginPC. Now, they make these incredible gaming computers. Look, any company can build a PC, but few can build a custom gaming PC worthy of playing the latest games. Many claim to offer gaming PCs, but they don't deliver a complete gaming experience. A real gaming PC must be focused on customization, service, gaming, and technology. This is OriginPC's specialty. Matter of fact, Ben's computer is an OriginPC computer. Now, joining us tonight is Eddie Piedra. Eddie is OriginPC's marketing specialist. Eddie, welcome to Computer America. How are you tonight?
Hey guys, thanks for having me tonight.
Absolutely, and yeah, I mean, you know, there are companies out there that will claim to make or offer gaming PCs, but really, I mean, what you do at Origin is really special. Tell us a little bit about what you do at Origin PC.
Sure, absolutely. So I guess I'll start off with a little bit of a backstory of Origin in general. It was actually founded in 2009. It was co-founded by 3 former Alienware executives, Richard Carey, Hector Penton, and Kevin Washilewski. And the whole point behind Origin was to bring back PC gaming to its roots, or its origin, if you will, when it was all about custom options, right? High performance, customer service, and the best support in the industry. And that's exactly what defines us. That's exactly who we are. And we offer a wide range of desktops and laptops as well. So.
Yeah, well, it certainly has changed. I mean, I remember when you had a laptop, gamers would kind of sneer and say, "Oh man, well I've got the real, the real thing with that." You can't have a gaming system on a laptop. You have to have a desktop computer with the cards in it and all this stuff. That has changed, has it not?
Yes, absolutely. The technology on laptops today have skyrocketed in terms of performance, and our laptops are what we call desktop replacements, right? They're definitely not your typical puny, low-end laptops. I mean, these are real gaming machines capable of keeping up with the big boys. Can easily replace your typical average desktop in the home and run any game you throw at it.
Well, exactly, and they're quite impressive. And when you go to the OriginPC website, which is originpc.com, you can see some of the gaming systems that we're going to be talking about in this hour. By the way, if you have a comment or question for our guest, you can give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. We also have an email when we're live and on the air. It's live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive add-on chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. You'll see just the chat room /video selection, or the button that's at the bottom of the homepage. Just click it, select it. You'll see the chat room on that page. Put in a username. Click the sign-in button, and your Java-enabled browser on a Windows machine, Mac, Linux, they all work. Will move you into the Computer America chat room. And also sharing that same page is our live Computer America video stream. That's right. You can watch Computer America from now. We've got it. It's up and running. It's amazing. The live Computer America video streaming page, if you're looking at Charles, is brought to you by Other World Computing. Quality products, expert support since 1988, now celebrating its 25th anniversary. If you have any Apple needs, any Macintosh needs, anything that plugs into a Mac, any of that, any equipment, solid-state drives, you name it, please visit them at www.macsales.com for some really incredible bargains. And, of course, whatever you buy there, you're going to have wonderful technical support. That's what they do over at Other World Computing. Okay, so you can watch Charles, and you can see Grayson and Eddie and myself. You can listen to the show, and you can also watch us on the program. So
I'm not Charles. I'm Batman.
Okay, Batman. And you are, to prove it, you're wearing a Batman T-shirt. There it is. That's it.
Wait, Batman T-shirt and my comfy Batman pajama pants.
Oh, you're okay.
That's right. I am Batman.
So we're all talking to Eddie Piedra, who is OriginPC's marketing specialist, and so the OriginPC. By the way, how long has OriginPC been around?
It's about 4 years now.
4 years, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about the systems that you have on our. Now, my understanding is that you basically kind of put together these systems from what? Are they standard components? How do you put a system together? Because when you go on, because you have all these different the professionally, the gear shop, you got all these different systems that you can put together. They're built together from different components that you put together, or do the people who want you to put them together for it? I mean, what's the process of getting a computer from OriginPC?
That's a fantastic question. I'm glad you asked it. So first of all, it starts with a process. Anything that we offer on our website gets tested and approved by our OriginPC engineers first. We have a standard of high-quality components from name brands, such as Intel, NVIDIA, EVGA, and Asus. These are known brands, they're high quality, and they're the best in the industry. And that's all we offer. And then after we, of course, approve that, we offer it to our customers. And, we offer almost 10,000 options, literally, on our website.
10,000 options?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yep. And essentially, we actually, once, you choose the components that you want, we actually hand build the PCs right here in the U.S., and we do all of our support. We build and we do everything right here in Miami, Florida. That's where we're based out of. So essentially, and we build the PC. Once we get the order in, we do what we call a 72-hour stress test. And this is how you know it's a true, reliable machine, right? We do a 72-hour benchmark test that stresses out all the components, the CPU, the GPU, and assures that quality before it ships the building, from the building. And that's really what makes or breaks the system, right? If it can survive a 72-hour stress test, trust me, it can survive anything.
Well, when you say a stress test, what do? You take it for a spin around the block? I mean, what is it? What kind of stress test do you do?
Yeah, it's just basically software pushing benchmarks, running benchmarks, and pushing the hardware to its limit, right? It maximizes the potential of the hardware. It's essentially it's pushing all the CPU, the GPU to its maximum limit, and it's going to keep it that way for 72 hours straight. And if basically it passes the test, it'll give you a benchmark score. The score represent the performance of the machine, which you can look up these scores online and you can compare with others. And of course, it assures that the components are working the way they should.
So, is it a fair assessment to say that if something is going to fail that's new on a PC, it's going to happen within the first 48 to 72 hours of its active life? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we definitely catch. We like to. Obviously, our goal is to make sure the customer receives a quality working product. Unlike our competitors that literally don't even bother doing this. It's literally they build and ship out the door with no testing at all. We like to take our time and make sure that all the components are working the way they should, because since we're custom, it's a complicated process. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you're not aware of, compatibility issues, and we have to make sure everything's working the way they should. So that's a bittersweet about custom, right? That's how it works. So we want to make sure that everything works perfectly fine. So that's why our golden rule is 72 hours straight of benchmark testing before it ships.
Now, Gray, you would agree when I say that that gaming using a system, one of these OriginPC systems that are set up for gaming, is probably the ultimate when it comes to a gaming experience, even better than, let's say, an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. Is that a safe assessment?
Well, I mean, you don't have to go much farther than Origin's. Essentially, when you go shopping on their on the company website and you take a look at their products, they give you a hefty amount of specs as to what these towers are going in, and they are not to be trifled with. I have seen these things in action. A good friend of mine has an OriginPC, to which he has fantastic reviews about. But these things are pure powerhouses. It's almost a thing of beauty. At the same time, I will point out these are also incredibly heavy pieces of machinery. This is not your average tower. These things. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they usually come between 40 to 60 pounds once they're fully equipped.
Oh yeah, actually we got our desktops with liquid cooling and 4-way GPUs. That's 4 graphics cards, fully liquid cooled. It can go as high as 120 pounds.
120 pounds! Wow.
Yep.
They call me Arnold.
You have to be like that to lift it. Yeah, exactly.
Because I will pump you up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of one of those, you play games for 2 hours, then you just start doing some bench presses, and you got your workout for the day.
Well, I'm exercising, seriously.
Lifting this computer up and down, yeah, exactly. But they're beautiful to look at. You don't want to take one of these things and just squirrel it away under the table somewhere. I mean,
right.
They look very showy. I mean, they look beautiful.
Right. I want to clarify to the audience too. We offer small, mid, and full towers. So I don't want everyone to think that we just sell heavy, bulky machines, which is not true at all. We also sell small form factor PCs. That weigh considerably less, and they're more living room friendly, if you want to call it that. We call it our Chronos, and then we have our mid-size, which is our Millennium, and our full-size, which is our Genesis. And that being basically, you can fit more components. Naturally, it's going to weigh more. It's going to be larger. It's going to take more space. So that's just the way it works. But we definitely offer a lot of variety.
Well, yeah, and I understand the variety, and I understand the importance of it, but bottom line is that the small form factor or the middle form factor, they're still not going to be able to compete with your large form factor. I mean, the size, just the physics of it, the larger computer is going to be, in this case, is going to be the fastest system, isn't that?
Absolutely, yeah, and it's basically we offer the larger ones for the enthusiasts, the hardcore of hardcore, right? The ones that want the best of the best. Let's say you want a game on 4K. That honestly you'll need at least triple, if not 4 GPUs to be able to run 4K gaming at a solid 60 frames per second. Which is a standard experience on a PC when you're gaming. So that's why we offer the larger towers for those kinds of customers.
Now, the 4K gaming experience, Gray, I mean, are PC games written to take advantage of the 4K screens these days?
Well, they're certainly starting to. So, I mean, 4K has finally kind of entered the market. It's definitely taking over the 3D spotlight. So, 3D TVs are quickly losing their allure in trade for 4K resolution. Mm-hmm. Now, is gaming at the 4K level only in the top, as we've been talking about, the top tier, because the issue is Sony has confirmed that the PlayStation 4 can operate with 4K resolution, though at the time it was not, this was initially not it wasn't their incentive, their main idea was going into 4K, but it was something they want to adopt. But in doing so, that's also a bit of a trade-off, because that's only going to adhere to people with the televisions that can support 4K, because 4K is also a massive leap in horsepower, and that's something that even right now the PlayStation 4 struggles with, especially with some of your more intense gaming that has more Twitch kind of gaming, your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, things that require a lot of multiple running parts at the same time. So that's always going to be a limitation on the console market that Origin obviously doesn't have. They don't have this limitation. I'm looking at the Millennium Pro model right now, and you guys, it's 64 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. Mm-hmm. And to put that in context for gamers out there, the PlayStation 4 only has 8 gigabytes. So this system, this Millennium Pro, which is the mid-level, this is not their top, this is only the mid, has 8 times the amount of RAM that a PlayStation 4 does. And PlayStation 4 has been out for about seven months now. Mm-hmm. And the Xbox 360, also 8 gigabytes. But that's DDR3, whereas the PlayStation 4 is DDR5, I believe. So it's, these are machines that can obviously, if you have the television, if you have the capability, mm-hmm. An Origin can run 4K, and I guess that would actually lead me to a question. Mm-hmm. Have you guys been playing around with 4K resolution for a while? Have you seen it? Is there an obstacle for you guys? Do you guys handle it with no problems at all? Have you had to make any kind of hardcore design changes in order to adapt to 4K resolution?
So yeah, we've been toying around with 4K for a while now. In fact, we demonstrated and demoed it at CES and PAX East with NVIDIA at their booth. Essentially, we actually are running triple 4K monitors, if you can believe it. Yeah, at CES 2014, NVIDIA, we gave we loaned them our Genesis, which is our highest end desktop that we offer. It's fully liquid cooled, and it had 4 Titan liquid cooled Titan Blacks, which is basically the highest, basically the highest end GPU in the market right now. And it was pushing triple 4K displays, 60 inches, running project cards at 60 frames per second. That's 1.5 billion pixels per second for those mathematicians out there. Wow. Which is not something that
that's one One heck of a lot of pixels. Listen, we got a caller who's coming in from Washington, D.C., has a question for you. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hi, how can we help you?
Oh, hi, how you doing? I was just wondering about, more than anything, on a kind of like personal opinion. With things coming out such as the, I don't know the thing that I remember what it was called, like the Steam box or like Bob, I mean like, computers that are like more geared towards like gaming than any other particular use. How likely is it that they will actually eventually come into the market and like be more prominent at the forefront rather than consoles? Because it's something that I've always been interested in, actually. Like, I guess you could call them consoles that don't necessarily need to have like there's like PlayStation 2, 3, and 4, but like rather you have your own like personal gaming station that you can eventually upgrade or like buy parts for, like basically as if it were a desktop computer. Like,
Gray?
what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, Gray, why don't you take that one?
Well, it's a good question, and it's one that is definitely becoming more and more prevalent in the past couple of years. Because as you said, you can get a console, PlayStation 4, for $400, and it's a pretty decent running gaming console for people. For people who just look at it from a gaming perspective, it's a great machine. It runs beautifully. It renders. It does a lot of your gaming aspects, especially multiplayer. Being able to download from the internet without interrupting game time. It does great in that respect. Now, if you look at the PlayStation from a computer perspective, because it is a computer, it's just in the form of a small, sleek-looking console box, then you start to see that a lot of the parts that make up the PlayStation 4 are, in terms of computing, actually in the middle of the road. They're not bad, but they're not super duper impressive. And see, what the computer industry will always have over the gaming industry is the gaming industry will always have to set a standard, and then that's the benchmark for several years. They don't want to create multiple consoles that get updated every year with new stuff. But for the computer industry, that's not the case at all. It's constantly being upgraded with new kinds of GPUs, new processors, new forms of RAM, all these things that you can obviously on your own augment. And that's kind of the idea that the Steam box is doing for gamers, is they want to bridge that middle gap. We're saying, we know you don't want to buy a system where you have to say, if I go the Sony camp, then I only play Sony games on the Sony box. What if you wanted to play Mass Effect, but you didn't want to get get an Xbox? Or what if you want to play the new Halo, but you want to get a computer, like an actual computer, one that you can augment, that you can change, you can tweak? What if you like this certain, what if you, out of 9 different parts of a computer, but you only like 8 of them? Well, if you bought a PlayStation, you're SOL. You can't tweak it without running out your warranty, without possibly damaging it. But with a computer, it's completely different. If that one part you don't like, you can change it. You can upgrade it. You can turn that into something else. And that's what the Steambox kind of initiative is going towards, is giving all computer designers and computer developers this ability to create a kind of gaming console for anyone. Like that way, because I know at CES several companies had different Steam boxes. Some catered to the higher end with $6,000 machines. Some catered to the lower end where it was more affordable, a $600 machine, a $1,000 machine, but they all boasted impressive materials. Origin is one of these, is another such company where their PCs are offering the same idea. It's just, in terms of gaming, the Origin can do 10 times, 20 times, and as he was talking earlier, almost 100 times the computing power of a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, possibly even put together. So gaming can't ever truly keep up with the computer industry, but that's not the race that they're running. Gaming is looking to create a affordable and competitive standard for gamers to be able to play and have a single platform that everyone can enjoy. But if you want to go the higher route, if you want to really get in there, if you love control and you want to create something that's completely unique, you've tweaked every detail, but you want to strain every ounce of energy, then that's what PCs do, and they've done it for years, and they will continue to always lead that charge. So it's a personal preference choice, and I personally think computers will always be the superior because ultimately gaming came from computers. We were spawned from computers, and that's where it's always going to be. I mean, Charles, you might have a different opinion. You might be able to agree or disagree with me, but I just always feel that we were born from computers, so in a sense, that is what always will be on top.
Well, I mean, it also comes down to what kind of gameplay you're liking. I mean, I know that there are these big monster PCs, these big monster machines, and that's where it started and where it's going, and so on and so forth. But like in this office, there's a constant battle between the PS4, the Xbox One, or one of my guys is like Epic gaming machine. So I think it really is going to be a matter of the different generations do different things.
Hey, caller, hopefully that answers your question. Caller?
Oh, yes, certainly. Certainly, that was great.
All right.
I do appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Hey, listen, you keep listening to the show, okay?
Sure thing.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, exactly. All right, there you goes. So again, 347-884-8881. I'll get you on, get you through. 347-884-8881. We're talking with Grayson Hamilton, our gamer correspondent, and also from Origin PC, we have Eddie Piedra, who was Origin PC's marketing specialist, talking about some of their really, incredibly fast computer systems. And so we're talking about the three different versions. You have the different form factors, but the bottom line is that the largest form factor that you have is really again will always the larger the physically the larger the computer, the more more power you can put into it. So the larger computer will always be the fastest model you make. I mean, you're never going to come out with a laptop that's going to be faster than your Genesis system.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just basically you can fit more components, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to. And so that's why we have the different sizes. Some people just want one graphics card. Some people want 2, 3, 4. You need more space, the more to fit more. So that's basically what it entails.
What do you advise people? If people are going to buy, you don't want to buy just the minimum because you want to leave yourself a little expansion capability. You want to be able, 6 months down the road, you might want to change something into it or add more graphics processors or put a newer one in. Obviously, the bigger the system, it's going to allow you to accommodate for that. But talk a little bit about what Origin PC does about upgrading systems that are purchased from Origin PC.
I'm glad you asked that question. So a couple things. One, obviously, we offer a different variety of cases. So we actually have our own case on our Millennium and Genesis is something that we designed, Origin PC designed ourselves. It was 2 years in the making. We're really proud of it. You can't find it anywhere else. You can only find it with us.
You have your own cases. I'll tell you what, we're also at the bottom of the hour break, and that's what the music means. So we're just going to take a 2 or 3 minute break, and then we'll come back, and I would like for you to continue on with that, okay, Eddie?
Sure.
All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. It's our Gamer Tuesday with gamer correspondent Grayson Hamilton. We have Origin PC's Eddie Piedra as our guest. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No Hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy? Hello, this is your London Minute voice memo classic. There may well be over 1 billion Facebook users, but how many of those accounts have been created under duress and in confusion? The following is a true story. It happened one afternoon quite recently. Hi Grandad, it's about time I got you on Facebook. I'll set you up now. All done. I've got to go, Grandad. I'll tag you in some photos later. We'll keep in touch this way. Bye. Grandad looked puzzled. What's tagging? He thought. He looked at his new Facebook page and found goofy and embarrassing things his granddaughter was posting. He wanted to cover his eyes. To make it worse, privacy settings weren't considered, and Facebook notification emails began to pile up in his inbox. What happened that afternoon were the actions of a well-meaning, sweet granddaughter, but it was the worst introduction to Facebook that I could imagine. If you like the sound of the London Minute voice memo and want your company to sponsor my audio column, contact me at my website, loveyourcomputer.co.uk, or I'm on Twitter, @ComputerTweety. This is Patricia Reichel for Computer America.
And the button is off, so I think you guys can still hear me. Thank you for that, Patricia. Even though I'm pretty sure, and she's going to get on me about this one, I'm almost 90% certain that was an apology to her granddad. It had to be. Like, it is the only thing I can think of is because she's like, oh no, I got caught, but it's okay. Anyway, welcome back to the Computer America Show. It's me, Craig and his webcam firewall, Eddie from OriginPC, and Grayson, last but certainly not least, our gamer correspondent on our Gamer Tuesday here on the Computer America Show. If you guys got a question like our last great caller did, give us a call, 347-884-8881. The number again, 347-884-8881 will get you on and get you through, and you can join the conversation. You can join us also over on ComputerAmerica.com in our live interactive add-on chat room, right above which is our high-speed streaming video, which I'm just realizing I am the only moving object in. Brought to you by our good friends over at Otherworld Computing, and also known as MacSales.com. Great stuff from great people. Check them out, MacSales.com, if you've got any type of upgrading needs for your Mac device or anything of the sort. If you want to upgrade some gaming PC stuff, you still can't game on a Mac, can you?
Yeah, sure. You can game.
Yeah, you can game on a Mac.
You can game on a Mac.
You can?
Yeah.
Hardly.
Hardly.
Yeah.
Eddie, I know in comparison to the Origin laptop line, the MacBook Pro i7 with 16 gigs of RAM all spec'd out. How hard would it actually, Grayson, in your opinion, would it actually stand up?
Well, not a MacBook Pro, but a Mac Pro. That's their tower. Yeah, exactly.
You mean the trash can?
Yeah, that's really pretty looking.
The Mac trash can, yeah.
The Mac Pro, yes, exactly.
Are you seriously suggesting you want to have the argument that any kind of Mac can stand up to any kind of PC?
Aren't
you the hacker?
I'm gonna open this can of worms because in many different respects, the Mac can outperform a Windows machine. And if you're even going to sit here and ask me whether or not a Mac will outperform Windows, I should hang up on you now, because quite honestly, we all know exactly how I feel about the Windows about Windows, and sometimes things just go wrong.
Oh no! Look at that.
See, and for those of you not watching our live video stream, I have just experienced the blue screen of death.
Yes, he has that. That's very cute, and you can see that. By the way, you got booted out of the chat room. What happened?
I don't know.
Well, just FYI, they watch you back in the chat room.
I'll get back in the chat room. I'm not even remotely sure what happened there.
Yeah. So we're talking, as I said, to Eddie Piedra from OriginPC, and we had to kind of stop at the bottom of the hour, but why don't you continue on?
Sure. I was just briefly talking about our desktop case that we actually designed and built for our Millennium and Genesis systems. Essentially, it was 2 years in the making. We wanted to do something different and unique to the gaming industry, to the PC gaming industry. Something that looks unique to the brand, and as well functionality. It offers more options and customization, and we call it the most advanced and customizable desktop case in the world, because it literally is, and I'll tell you why. And basically, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but desktops, gaming desktops in this case, generally have a window, right? It's normally on the left side.
Yeah.
But majority, 90% of them are all the same. The window's always on the left side. That never changes. With our case, it's ambidextrous, and we have the ability to mount the motherboard in 4 different orientations. And what that means, or what that allows me to do, is we can actually invert the motherboard and basically swap the window or the side panel on the opposite side, or on the right side. So for the gamers that want the PC or the desktop on the left, on the opposite side, they could do so and look at their components. I mean, that's the whole point of the window, is to see what's inside and admire the lovely components that are inside your machine. And also for airflow, we can mount it 90 degrees vertically, so the airflow comes out through the top of the PC as opposed to the back. So for those that put their PC against the wall, which is a big no-no, right? When you have a motherboard vertically or 90 degrees, all the heat goes out through the top of the case as opposed to the back. And not only does that increase performance, that obviously solves a problem for those that want to put it against a wall and they can't, So there's like a lot of different variations there. And in short, it's just a lot of custom options for the customer. And we also have the ability to convert the same case to a full tower with a bay that we add on the bottom. We call it the expansion bay. And this expansion bay, believe it or not, can store 24 hard drives, additional hard drives, if you want.
Dear God, why?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I know how much porn that is.
Yes, exactly. Exactly what it's all about. No,
especially if they're all 1 to 5 terabyte drives.
Right. Yeah, the reason why is because there are professionals out there, video editors, for example, musicians, whatnot. They actually need a plethora of hard drive space, and they don't want to go through the hassle of unplugging and disconnecting hard drives and whatnot. They just want it integrated to the system. In fact, we get a lot of DJs and video editors that ask for this, and maybe not 24, but let's say 12, or 8 to 12, let's just say. The option is there, and really no other case can offer those kinds of options, which is what makes it unique.
Yeah, well, obviously allows you to expand, but and even swapping out components, if something newer or faster or better comes out, you don't have to throw the whole computer away. You can
Correct.
You can now. Does OriginPC do that for you? If how does that work?
Absolutely. So we actually, part of our service and support is we offer free lifetime labor. So and we actually have a program called the Evolve program, and I'll explain what that means. Let's say you buy a 3-year warranty with us. we have a program. It's called the Evolve programs. So for 3 years, let's just say a better graphics card, which inevitably will come out, you want to upgrade to, right? What we'll do is we'll credit you your existing graphics card that you have. We'll give you market value credit for that graphics card, and you can apply it to the new one. And you ship us your computer, we'll do the labor for you, we'll do all the upgrades for you, and we'll ship it back to you.
Wow. Now, actually, Eddie, I do computer forensics work, and the more I'm listening about the specs on some of these Origins, the more I'm like, I need to get one of these guys for one of my forensic boxes. In terms of storage and eSATA and the things of that nature, all of those are options that I can throw in there, right? What comes standard on your big box machine here?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously standard could be, your Intel i5 or Core i7 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, storage drives, hard drives, or even SSDs. We offer, tons of different options. NVIDIA graphics cards, the latest and greatest. Everything that we offer is the latest and greatest out there. But obviously we offer a lot of options because there are different budgets and everyone has, different needs. So we offer a lot of options. So the default specs that come with our machines is basically what we feel is the minimum requirement for gaming, or in this case for professional, for workstation use. It's what we feel it's the comfort zone to say this is a fully functional machine that's capable of doing anything you want it to do in the most basic sense. And then obviously sky's the limit there. It depends on you and your needs, right? So.
Well, I'm definitely gonna have to reach out to you because like I said, we're speccing an entire lab, and we've got we need at least i7s. They need to have at least 16 gigs of RAM. We need at least a 150 gig solid state for the operating system and all of our tools. What caught my attention was the additional hard drive bays for the thing. With computer forensics, we do hot swaps really fast.
Yep.
And I need to be able to. I bet you guys have never got an order for someone saying, "Do you have an onboard write blocker that you can build into the machine?"
So it's funny that you say that because we get custom orders all the time. We actually sold to the Miami-Dade and here in Miami, Florida, our Miami-Dade Police Department, their forensics team. They bought computers from us.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So we sold them. A lot of our Pro systems, and they specifically, I don't know if they asked for that specifically, but they definitely asked for unique things that we don't generally offer. But the beauty about Origin is if we don't offer something on our site, we'll look into it, we'll special order it for you. If it's compatible and it makes sense, then we'll sell it to you. We'll get it, exactly. So that's how custom we are. So we'll make it work no matter what.
I will definitely hold you to that one because I like I said, we're going to be speccing almost an entire lab, so we're thinking like 7 of them we're going to need. So cool.
Perfect. Yeah, you're talking to the right person. So.
Now, Charles actually, he leads me to a question that I was looking at. So I'm doing some snooping around on the company website. I went to the careers section because it's certainly piqued my interest, I see that there's a description for a government/corporate sales agent, and I find at first that piqued my interest because I know we've been talking about Origin in terms of from a gaming light, but I wanted to just ask, and I'm not asking you to name names of customers or businesses or anything like that, but I do want to know, I mean, when you get calls from businesses, I mean, in terms of working with them, how does these top of the line computers, I mean, what's kind of some of the common things they're looking for? I mean, are we talking huge amounts of data processing? Are they looking for doing more video oriented stuff? Because I could see your Origin PCs, with all this kind of horsepower, I mean, I could see huge movie studios doing some AAA movie editing, 3D rendering, things like that. So I guess for the viewers out there, it's one of those, when we get past the aspect of gaming, what else can Origin PCs, like what are they really, really also very good for?
Right. That's a great question. So we have obviously a government corporate sales division that handles that. So whenever we get calls from universities or the police department or the government or any business really that are in need of high performance machines, but they want something really custom to their needs. You mentioned earlier a specific component that it's not, you can't just find that in any HP or Dell or Apple. Like it's not that simple. This is our specialty. This is where our expertise comes into play. So we sell to DJs, we sell to video editors, graphic designers, you name it. We sell it to all of them. Our pro workstations, which believe it or not, a gaming PC and a pro workstation, they're both essentially the same thing. Gamers want power and performance, and so do professionals. What really differentiates the two, I guess, obviously, if you're gonna go into technical specs, there are some differentiators, like the graphics card, for example. There's graphics cards for 3D applications. We call them Quadro cards from NVIDIA. That they're not meant for gaming. They're meant for 3D animation. They specifically are meant for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where our workstations, they offer those kinds of cards, as our gaming line won't offer that. It's not needed. So that's kind of where we differentiate it. But at the end of the day, a gamer and a professional want speed and performance. So it's kind of ironic, and most people don't realize it, but it's essentially the same thing. Except obviously the other differences too is the benchmarks that we do for gaming are gaming benchmarks that will give you a gaming score. As to the pro, we do professional benchmarks that push the 3D capabilities for the graphic designers, and for the photo editors and the video editors, they push the processing power that matters more to them, right? So we do different tests for different reasons. So that's how we differentiate it.
Gotcha.
So, getting back to let's talk a little bit about again the three systems you offer. Starting with the top of the line, which is the Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this thing. I mean, it looks the pictures look phenomenal from this system. Obviously, a gorgeous computer system. You have things like the front, even right down to the front door orientation. You can make it so it'll open right to left or left to right, so you can. So wherever you position your computer, it's going to you certainly can open it in the right way.
Yep.
You use server grade steel chassis for this thing. I mean, this is just
I'm looking at the chassis. The gap on the bottom, is that for the power supply? What is that?
So are you looking at the bottom expansion bay? Is that what you're referring to?
Is that what that is? I see the server class steel chassis, and then right at the bottom, there's this really huge open space down there.
Yeah, that's probably for our expansion bay. So essentially, that bay is the piece that goes underneath the Genesis, and that's where we house more hard drives, or we can also house additional liquid cooling 360 millimeter radiators.
Wow.
So to enhance liquid cooling support. And for those users that don't understand what the purpose is of liquid cooling, it's basically meant to cool the CPU or the GPU or even the motherboard when you're pushing it to its maximum potential. It's like if I'm going to turbocharge my computer, it's going to get really hot.
Yeah.
And that's what the liquid cooling is going to help it, like obviously cool it down. So.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Now I'm scrolling through here to get the sticker shock on this box.
Well, we have another caller, so I'd like to take them.
Oh, great.
As well. Okay. Hey, this is the Computer America Show with OriginPC and Grayson Hamilton. Caller, you're on the air. How can we help you? Oh, he just dropped. Okay. Look.
All right, good talk.
Yeah.
Great caller. Thank you for that.
Yeah. All right. So you were asking him a question, Charles?
So Eddie, how much does the which one is this one? The Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
and it's without me customizing, or maybe I have to click customize to build it.
Yeah. So, go ahead with your question.
So, okay, so step 1 orientation. Okay, we'll leave in that one. Step 2 color design. What is the basic Genesis cost?
So if you keep clicking through, what you're doing is just choosing the basics. But essentially, the starting at prices are around $1,600, sir. which is going to start you off with a Core i5 processor from Intel, and obviously that's all upgradable. It also depends on the chipset that you choose too. So there's the Z97 or the X79.
You can get it overclocked.
And you can get it overclocked as well, of course. So that's actually our specialty. That's what we've been doing for years. Way back when in the Alienware days, we've been doing it for a long time. So we're very familiar to how to overclock the CPU and the GPU at safe, reliable levels to maximize the performance of the product.
Okay. We got our caller back again, so let's try it again. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hi, caller. How can we help you? You're on the air. Oh, I guess not. All right. Well, that's it. So, all right. So, continue on. So you got these incredible systems that you were talking about. Eddie, please continue.
Sure. I was just mentioning that essentially he mentioned overclocking, and we can overclock as high as 4.7 gigahertz. Translation, that's like turbocharging a car. We're supercharging the computer, and we're maximizing the frequency of the CPU to push it to the limit. And that's why we offer liquid cooling as a standard in all of our machines to make sure they're nice and cool so that they last long. I mean, that's the idea. We want them to last. This is not something that will break on you within a year or two. All of our PCs will last you guaranteed at least 4 to 5 years, if not more. That's the whole point.
Right. So. And because you are overclocking them, and that's why you need the cooling?
Correct. So, the cooling will obviously help cool down any processor or GPU that's overclocked, because what you're doing is you're pushing it further than what it's capable of, and it's going to get really hot. So you need to cool it down.
Okay. And these cooling systems certainly will help do that, and it preserves the life of the computer. Now, continuing on what we talked about, so let's say, 6 months, 8 months, a year from now, they come out with a different processor or something that's faster. I can continue to upgrade that system to keep it new and compatible.
Yeah, that was cool. I actually just landed on that part of there, and I was going to ask, what is the Evolve program? Is that
right?
So
that's what I was mentioning earlier. Essentially, it ties in with your warranty. So let's say you have a 1, 2 year, 3 year warranty, whatever your warranty period is. You can purchase our Evolve program, which I think it's like $40 or something. It's not a lot. And what that does is it allows you to trade in your component in the future and upgrade to the newer component. So as an example, you mentioned earlier the CPU, right? So let's say you buy a computer today, you get a 2-year warranty, let's say, and you also buy our Evolve program. And what you're doing is 2 years from now or a year and a half from now, a better processor comes out, which is natural and is inevitable. That's going to happen, and you want to upgrade. So what you do is you give us a call. And you tell us, hey guys, I want to upgrade to the new processor. We'll go ahead and evaluate your current processor and say, okay, this is what the market value is right now. This is how much you can buy it for online today. That's how much we're going to give you as credit towards a new component, towards a new processor. And essentially, you just pay the difference, which is very minimal because obviously it's all relative. And you send us a system, we'll upgrade it for you free of charge. We don't charge for the labor. We never charge for labor. Ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's lifetime labor. It's all free as part of our service.
And you will deal in components that you don't normally. But you when I say I want a widget in my computer, and you go online to get that widget, or I can provide you the widget, you'll put it in. I mean, or do you say no, we don't really want to put that widget in there because either that we don't think it's advisable. I mean, how much do you interact with your customers to either advise them they should or shouldn't do, or add something to a computer like that?
That's a great question. Obviously we're not. If we see something that's not compatible or not, we don't strongly recommend. We're going to advise the customer and warn them, hey, this component is not compatible with what you're trying to do, or this is not exactly the most feasible thing for you. We try to find a better solution. If, of course, the customer insists, that's the customer. We're going to make them happy. Nonetheless, it's our job to communicate what's best for them. And and that's what it boils down to. So if they wanted us to install something that, obviously we would recommend the best solution for them.
Well, let's say they put that they say we don't want you to put it in. They said no, I want you to put it in anyway. And they put it in, and then it fries their computer. What is your liability, or and
Well, I mean, so we handle those kinds of things on what we call a case-by-case basis, right? Because we can't control every single scenario. We obviously fully warranty all our products, as long as basically if we custom order a part that we don't offer, that part in general is not covered in our warranty because we don't offer it. It's not something that we offer. It's the warranty of the product is backed by the original manufacturer.
Got it.
Right? So we would say to you, if you wanted a specific hard drive that we don't offer and the hard drive fails, right? We would say, okay, you got to deal with because we didn't offer it to begin with. Now, how do we have offered it, which we'd recommend anyways, right? We would obviously take care of that for you. That's the whole point.
Well, what if that widget damages something that is it's part of your system that's under warranty? Then you handle that on a case-by-case basis.
Right, exactly. We are very lenient. We know that things happen. Obviously, if it's something that happens, within a short amount of time, we take care of it as soon as we can. We
got it.
Make the customer happy, right? So it's all case-by-case basis.
I understand. Well, listen, Eddie, we're pretty much running out of time here. Again, if you want more information, head over to computeramerica.com and click on our show notes selection from our pull-down menu, and you can see today's show, May the 13th, and you'll see OriginPC. We actually have a link to the website there. Or just go to OriginPC.com and check out all the terrific systems at OriginPC. Eddie, I want to thank you so much for being with us here on tonight's show. Very interesting, very really cool stuff. I mean, you make some incredible computers, and keep up the good work, really.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, Eddie, I will be reaching out to you here in the near future to see if we can get that lab started.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you.
And
cool.
I actually might be reaching out to you on a completely separate matter, Eddie.
You guys, all of you
Where's
can
the dollar sign button?
all of you are more than welcome to reach out to me anytime.
And say hi to Kevin Washaleski for me, okay?
I will do.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so there you go. OriginPC here at ComputerAmerica.com. Check it out. They make some incredible computers. And we're going to continue. We're going to kind of shift gears and get back into the, although we are talking about gaming, we're going to talk about some of the really interesting things that's happening in the gaming world. We're going to, some of the topics we're going to be talking about tonight are as I said, are in our show notes page. You just go to our show notes page at ComputerAmerica.com, and you can see all the topics, including E3 2014. Yes, it's coming. It's going to be here in June, and we're going to talk about what we might expect to see at E3. These are some of the topics we're going to be talking about, and also we got some gaming news for May. Grayson has got some interesting news topics that we're going to be talking about, including Nintendo is in the news. Major League Gaming is going to be at the ESPN X Games in Austin, Texas. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about here coming up in the second hour of the Computer America Show. 347-884-8881. That number will stay open throughout the program. 347-884-8881. I'll get you on to get you through. Live at ComputerAmerica.com. We are talking to Grayson Hamilton for the remainder of the hour. Charles Tyndall and I will be right back after this quick break. Be listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network and the Boost Radio Network and the IRN Radio Network.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host,
Craig Crossman.
Yes, Satan. And I'm your co-host, Charles Tendell.
And also with us here is Grayson Hamilton, our Computer America gamer correspondent, here with us on our Gamer Tuesday show. So, Gray, what did you think of the with Eddie? Did you enjoy that?
Fantastic. Love the guy. He's very well versed, and I mean, I've known of Origins for a while, but you know, he brings it home. If you want the cream of the crop, you're hard to find anything better than Origin.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about E3. It's coming in June. A little bit of a preview of what we might expect out of E3.
Yeah, it's comes every year, and it always comes too quickly and then leaves, and
yeah.
There's always just a huge amount of info that we just can't that we have to spend weeks processing. So it's one of my favorite times of the year.
By the way, if you want to follow along with us, you can. If you go to computeramerica.com, click on the show notes button, you'll see everything that we're talking about tonight. You'll see the topics. You'll see we actually have links to some of the topics that we're going to be talking about tonight. That's all from Grayson. So you can actually follow along and kind of interact with us as well. And of course, you can always call us at 347-884-8881. So let's talk about E3. What do you think we're going to see?
Oh, in a word, we're going to see a lot. Mm-hmm. So last year was just showing off the machines because they hadn't come out yet. So it was all about the hype. You know, this is why you need to choose the PS4. This is why you need to choose the Xbox One. Nintendo was around. They said some things that were also nice. Mm-hmm. So, but it was all about the machines. It was all about the new hardware. Well, hardware's out. Been out for 6 months. We're going on 7 now.
Yeah.
It'll be 8 months by the time that E3 rolls around. So the gaming community, we have it in our hands. We've put it through the test. We see the ups. We see the downs. You know, we've enjoyed it, but we're looking for what's next. And by what's next, I don't mean the next system. It's show us the games. It's time for our heavy hitters. And this is what I think both lineups lacked a little bit coming out of the gate. You know, they did talk about it's no longer launch day, it's launch window. And what they mean by that is there might be 6 or 7 games out when the PlayStation and the Xbox launched, but they say within 2 months or 3 months of the machine coming out, there's going to be 25 games, 30, 35 games. They call that the launch window because they know that they can't pressure studios to get games out right at launch day. That means bugs means lower scores means lower sales numbers. So it's always a big game. But here, now that it's been out for 8 months, now we got to start to see these heavy hitters, and these are most likely all of them. Well, I would say most of them. The majority of the games we're going to be looking at are going to be first-party titles. They're going to be in-house, and these are going to be the ones that we've been excited about, that we've heard about, that have been teased, but we haven't seen gaming footage. But these are the ones that they want to push systems. And now, when I say these, first-party, of course I'm talking Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. But I want to make it clear now that for a lot of people, and it's been like this for several years, so it's funny that people talk about the big three, and they're talking about Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo because they have consoles. To be honest, it really should be the big five now, because EA and Ubisoft have both had their own press conferences in E3 for several years, actually since E3 came back, way back in, I think it was 2008. And they have their own style of doing it. Sure, they don't have a console, but their conferences are no less impressive. Let me be clear about that. EA and Ubisoft always have impressive things to show, especially this year. Now that we have the new systems, people want to know what EA's been working on in terms of for the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. We know Ubisoft been showing off Watch Dogs a bunch, and we're excited for that. But Ubisoft also teased a new Assassin's Creed. They showed a video, so that's also something we want to see. EA, since we heard EA made the giant they had that giant announcement saying that they have an exclusive partnership with LucasArts as a sole developer of future Star Wars games. And we talked about this months ago, Craig, on the show, is what kind of Star Wars games are we going to be looking at? Well, this is the perfect time to show us. And I think that's going to be their heavy hitters, is we will see footage of Star Wars Battlefront, which is I would say the Call of Duty-esque Star Wars game that people have loved since way back when. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is on the PlayStation 2. That's how long ago that we've been waiting for a sequel, and we're finally getting one as a next-gen. Star Wars 1313 be another great example. And in looking at that, it's funny to think, because Amy Hennig, and that was the name that we wanted to talk about before, she was the head writer for all of the Uncharted games at Naughty Dog, and she announced that she was leaving Naughty Dog, and she was immediately picked up by EA to work on an unannounced Star Wars game. Now, she's been a fantastic, seasoned veteran writer for the industry for over a decade. She knows how to write a great story for a video game, and she's very well respected. So I can guarantee you that if she's not working on Star Wars 1313, she's working on something very, very close to it. And I'm certainly hoping that they will at least announce what this project is and show it to us. Will it be a standalone game, or will it tie into the new Star Wars movies coming out? I'm not entirely sure. They could go either way. It'd be interesting, nonetheless, to see what kinds of stories they bring in now that they're opening up the Star Wars lore to another 3 episodes. So Star Wars is now going to be around for the next 7, 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
There's tons of potential in the Star Wars universe.
By the way, what about Tom Clancy games from Ubisoft? Are they going to still be around? Or they?
See, that's also I wanted to pose that out there because as we know, Tom Clancy passed away this past year.
Yeah.
And he's been a major source of inspiration for a lot of shooter action games. There's Rainbow Six, there's Future Soldier. He's been around being a major inspiration for a lot of video games. He even started his own studio, which is why they've been around. And they're always rather entertaining games. They don't necessarily break the bank, but they are nonetheless fun to play. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell is one that's been around for many years, and Splinter Cell has always been a very entertaining game. It's gone through a lot of iterations, but it's nevertheless has always been a very entertaining game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to that studio now that he's gone. Are we going to see more Tom Clancy games?
What is that?
I really hope so. I'm not sure what that is.
What is that? Charles, was that you?
Oh, sorry, that was my phone. Yes. I didn't realize it was on speaker. I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, it's on speaker. That's not cool.
No.
But
yeah.
It's I'm certainly hoping that they continue with a Tom Clancy lineage, because and some of these Rainbow Six has had multiple iterations. There's no reason why they can't continue down Rainbow Six. I think it was Ghost. There's Ghost Soldier and there's Future Soldier. There's a lot of different iterations, but these are all good. There's no reason why we can't see another Splinter Cell, especially Splinter Cell. I'd love to see that. So I'm hoping there is an announcement of some kind. And they don't need to show us anything, but it'd be nice just to see that they're still around, that we are going to see Tom Clancy in the future, so that the fans aren't too left in the dust, so to speak. Now, Sony, obviously, they teased the Uncharted Next Gen last year, so obviously we're going to be looking for what the fourth Uncharted game. So that is something I think they're going to be leading off with. Will be one of their big show-offs, whether that means a cinematic footage, gameplay footage. I'm hoping it's the latter. You can show anybody CG footage, but I'd rather see what the game actually is going to look like. So I'm hoping for that. Drive Club, which is their main racing game that they announced way back when they announced the PS4. They showed off that they were hoping that to be a launch title. Obviously, things got complicated. They couldn't get it out in time, and they decided to sit on it, which is fine. But I hope they show that off in its near polished product, because they were really gunning for this to be a huge Forza and NASCAR competitor, and I believe it can. It's just they need to really remind us why Drive Club is such a huge investment on Sony's part, being an in-house racing game. And remember, racing is not a very widely played genre either. So, you know, it's a bit of a gamble to put a lot of resource into such a huge driving genre game. But if they're invested in it, if they believe in it, then this is the perfect moment for them to not only remind us but to show us this is what we've done for this game in the past year. Look how much smoother it is. Look how much more polished, what have you, wherever they want to decide to go with it. Also, they really need to, I don't want to say reevaluate, but reinvigorate the Vita. You know, their mobile, it's their mobile console unit, PlayStation Vita, has sold very well this past year. Nothing anywhere close to what the Nintendo 3DS does, but they understand that. But in terms of releases, in terms of games, it's actually kind of been weakening in this past year, and a lot of it's due to what for some reason, they've continuously tried to port console games and PC games to the Vita. And as a lot of gamers out there know, when you try to port games to different consoles, the Achilles heel is always going to be the mode of play. You know, when you try to play, and the perfect example this past week was Borderlands 2. Now, Borderlands 2 is a fantastic and very hilarious first-person shooter that was made by Gearbox, which is actually up in Dallas, in Texas. It was great on the PC. There was a console version as well. But the port to the PlayStation Vita was actually very disappointing. The graphics obviously were scaled down. The motion controls did not work nearly as well. The touchpad on the back almost has no function. So, you know, really, it's not that the overall product is harmed. What really was just harming it was this was not made to be a mobile game, a PlayStation Vita game. And that is where there needs to be a bit of a reinvigoration. Is they need to start really looking at how they want to define the Vita. Is the Vita just going to be another run-of-the-mill mobile console where you can take it with you on the go, or do we want to spend time really pulling in some developers who can create innovative, collaborative, unique experiences on the PlayStation Vita? And this can be done. I believe it can be done. There are studios out there who have proven that they can do mobile games, and it's not just like a fun mobile game, but it also looks impressive. Because remember, graphics are still always going to be an issue, and they want to strive with the PlayStation Vita. They want to make sure that it's as good as it can be. They want to make sure that they still have PS3 level graphics on their Vita, and they can. But they need to start moving away from that and really start drumming up, looking into the indie markets. And that's really where there's such a growing surge of talent, is in the indie markets. Is that would give them the perfect venue to go from a relatively obscure point in the internet, or maybe they got a green light through Steam. Perhaps it's just a good company who's done some good apps. But you give them the next step up and say, we want you to create something for the Vita. We want you to, exclusive partnership. Here's our mobile here's what you can do with it. How can you create something good with it? And that will take time. That's not something that's going to be able to stop, or that's going to be able to just, you flick a switch and that happens in 6 months. That takes some investment. So in terms of the future of the Vita, they need to remind us, and they need to show us where the Vita's role is in the gaming industry. Because if they don't do that, then the Vita's going to have an identity crisis, and people aren't really going to know why to buy it. And that's a problem, because you really do need a good source of identity before customers will start to trust in it. That's something Nintendo has always done very, very shrewdly with their mobile consoles. Ever since the Game Boy, they always had that stronghold on the market because they knew exactly how to market mobile gaming, and they always, they were always on top. And now that I think Sony understands that they can't compete with Nintendo in a numbers game. They can compete with them in a quality game where they can say, the 3DS does great, you can play some fun, quirky titles on it, but you can't push the envelope. You know what you can do with the Vita? You can push the envelope. Here's what we have that is nowhere to be found on the 3DS. And from there they can show us how that works into their overall strategy.
And you think they're going to do that?
I mean, I would like to say that they're going to at least show us what their plans are with the Vita, and I hope it is somewhere in this line, because if they stick with ports, if they stick with trying to create spin-off sequels from PS4 games and just create like a dumbed-down version, that's not going to sell units. That's not going to push the Vita where it needs to. And remember, this past year, the Vita sales really, they didn't tank, but they slowed much quicker than the company was expecting, which means that interest in the Vita is tapering off more severely than they expected. So they're going to have to bounce back even harder than they anticipated before. So that's going to take some time, and I'm sure they have a strategy in line, and I hope they address that at their conference in June. Now, we switch focused a little bit to Microsoft, because Microsoft has done a lot of backpedaling, as we all know, past year after the Xbox One came out, and even before then, it was the ideas with the DRM, the Kinect always being on, your privacy issues, what they could look into, what was being monitored, all these different things that they had to backpedal on so people would stop freaking out about the system that they're buying. Well, I do remember them saying a long time ago that they would never sell the Xbox One without a Kinect.
Yes, I remember that.
They were very adamant about that position, and which is why they went out of their way to make sure that you could turn off the Kinect, that you didn't even have to have the Kinect connected to it, and all these other things. Well, we have been confirmed that they will be debuting a Xbox One Kinectless bundle for $399, so that you can buy an Xbox One without the Kinect, and it will be the same price as a PlayStation 4. Now, good for them? Absolutely. I mean, I dare say this is something they should have done from the beginning, and they might have actually I believe they would have been, the competition between the PS4 and the Xbox One would have been razor thin. I think it would have been right down to 50-50. So it's better late than never that we're getting this bundle, which is, I think, for a lot of people is great. Even for the less knowledgeable people, they don't need to worry about what the Kinect does.
But what was the big deal with the Kinect? That's something I never understood. Why were people so against it?
It was mainly a privacy issue. It was discovered that the Kinect would always be on, and there was I can't remember the hacker's name, but he did show that it was possible using software that he could hack into an anonymous Kinect device, and he could be able to monitor what was going on in the house. And that set off a lot of alarms. A lot of people were angry at Microsoft for allowing this to happen. Of course, they said that they were not aware of this at all. They'd looked into it, and a lot of people, in terms of getting the Xbox One, were saying, well, I don't want the Kinect because in terms of video games, it doesn't do anything for me. I just want the box. Why can't I just buy the Xbox One without the Kinect? And then they retorted saying, because we designed the Xbox One with the Kinect, like hand in hand. One cannot operate without the other. And that turned off a lot of people. So then they had to backtrack and say, okay, it works without the Kinect. You don't have to use it. You can just turn it around, or you can even turn it off. And it got so severe that a third party created and patented a small $5 piece of plastic that you can put on the Kinect so that it puts plastic right, so it blinds the Kinect eye. That's how severe it got, was that people were actually looking for buying this little dinky piece of plastic so they could cover the eye so that you wouldn't have to worry about someone spying on you.
And why not just unplug the thing?
Because at the time, the Xbox One could not turn on without the Kinect connected to it.
Okay.
Like, they were very pushy aggressive on trying to make people understand that You don't have to use the Kinect, but you're gonna need it to play anything at all. And that just made it so much worse for them, because that was just saying, well, this is just arbitrary, and you're just making me pay another $100 for a piece of machinery I don't have any interest in.
What's changed with this new Connectless one? Can you turn it on without a Connect, or are they changing?
Yes. See, that's been the case since the launch. Was you don't need the Kinect. You really don't. It was just if you want an Xbox One, you were gonna get a Kinect with it. So you had to pony up the extra $100 and get it. That was just the only real frustration of the past 6 months now. So finally, they concede and announce a Kinectless bundle where you can just get the system without the Kinect, and all you have to do is do a software patch, which I'm guessing will happen right around the time this bundle goes out. And from then on, you won't need the Kinect.
Oh, but for now, still, you need to have a Kinect on an Xbox One to turn it on? It still has to be attached, then?
It still has to be attached, but it doesn't have to be on.
That's not accurate. I have 3, actually, and only one of my Xboxes actually has a Kinect hooked up to it. The one we have here at the office never had a Kinect. Like we
see, that's even more. Then that's even more to the point. Is this bundle is you can already have. You just have to, but you can't buy it. It's essentially what they're doing is what a lot of people are already doing is you buy the Xbox One and you just
don't hook up the Kinect.
Yeah, you throw away the Kinect. You wouldn't throw it away, but you just put it on the shelf and forget about it.
Yeah.
So that was something. That was the big announcement this week, which I think was good, and they'll reiterate that on their major one. The other thing that they did talk about was quote focusing on the games, and it's one of, and here I hear this every single year from one company or another, and it just gets, I mean, it's tiresome and it's repetitive because we get it. All gamers get it. Focusing on the games. That's what E3 is about. You don't need to you don't need to reinforce it to us by continuously saying we're focusing on the games. Then don't just say it. Show me the games. Show us the footage. Show us what we want to see. You don't need to complicate the E3 formula any more than it already has. We know that you guys, that these companies spend months, programming every single second and scheduling and making sure that this entire thing goes off without a hitch, because they want their marketing message to be right on the nose, and perfect. And I understand that, but it gets to a point where you're just complicating it a little bit too much, because I understand there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, and you want to throw some, celebrities out there, but you want to show off the games. It's not about that. That E3 died many years ago. It got too bloated. It was too over the top, and it didn't give games the importance and the platform that they really needed to show it off. So now we stripped E3 down back to the roots where it's just about the games. We don't really care too much about the booth babes or the cosplaying or the all that stuff. No, it's just show us what we came here to see.
Right. And not caring about booth babes. Got it.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping, and I know they say it because some company's going to say it every now and then. So my message to Microsoft is, don't just tell me that, just show it to me. So you get an hour and a half on stage, you better, show me at least 8 or 9 games. Show me why I should be excited that I can get a Kinectless Xbox One, because that's their challenge. Is they're behind on numbers. They're still doing great. They're doing great on numbers, but they're behind the PS4, and even though they don't say it's a race, it's always going to be a race. So it's one of those, if they want to, they better put up or shut up. That's what it comes down to. And finally, I know we're coming up to the last couple minutes before we take a break, but what's Nintendo going to do? That's kind of the funny question.
I've got one for you. I know what they're going to do.
What are they going to do?
They're going to team up with BlackBerry, come out with the Nintendo phone.
It'd be funny, and that certainly would be the shocker of the year. I'll tell you that. But yeah, so what's Nintendo gonna do? And even I'm a little bit at a loss for words, just because the past 2-3 months have been such a mishmash for Nintendo, and most of it hasn't really been good news. Craig, you remember we talked about this Iwata cut his salary in half.
Yes.
Board of Trustees denied their bonuses because this is the 4th year in a row that Nintendo's posting record loss in terms of their investments in the Wii U. Wii U titles have been selling abysmally, to say the least. They are millions behind on their numbers of where they thought they would be. I think they crested 3.9 million last month, and the Nintendo's been out for almost 2 years now. And the Microsoft and Sony have already sold 6 million PS4s and Xbox Ones. So they've already surpassed Nintendo in 6 months.
Well, they're perceived as being the newer games and more robust, I guess.
Well, they are, and we've been through the whole arguments of where Nintendo went wrong, and it's good to know that they understand that they went wrong. They took a gamble and it didn't work out, so now they need to reestablish, they need to rebuild. So while they're doing that, because they've teased that they already know what their next system's going to be, but they're not going to tell us anything about that. So what do they have to show us this year at E3? Well, of course, it's going to be their biggest titles is the Super Smash Brothers, both for the Wii U and for the 3DS, which, of course, is great, and we're all happy about that. But they've got a smaller market to deal with, so how, they're pulling out their trump card, at least I hope they're pulling out their trump card. Where's the new Zelda? We know they're making a Zelda. They've been working on a Zelda game for the Wii U since before the system came out. So it's been over 3 years, and we still haven't heard anything. Nothing's been announced, and there's been no footage. So I think it's time that they break out the big boy, and they bring back and show us why we should get a Wii U for the new Zelda. They've been teasing ideas saying that they're going in a radical new direction for the Zelda franchise, that they're embracing new ideas, that it's going to be very different from any of the other Zeldas they've done before. That's intriguing to me. I'm not, I haven't turned my back on Nintendo or Zelda for that matter. So I'm intrigued, and they can win me over. It's a matter of, but they gotta commit, and they need to show it. So I'm hoping that their trump card is breaking that out. I don't want to hear anything about the Life Pulse little finger thing. I don't want to know what the next code name for their new system is, because frankly I don't care at this point. It's your system's out now, you're behind the game, you guys need to catch up. How are you going to catch up? It's through your titles. That's Nintendo's strength. Metroid, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Super Smash Brothers, Mario. They have, without a doubt, the most iconic characters in gaming, in the entire gaming industry. So that's where their strength is. That's where they need to really bring home. So if they show me, if they can convince the crowd saying this is why now is the better time than ever to get a Nintendo Wii U, they will have a fighting chance in the months to come. And I hope that's the case, because I never, Nintendo's my boy. I always, they're like the Dallas Cowboys for me right now. It's just like I want to believe them, I want to love them, even though they're probably going to let me down. But I'm hoping, that they stick this fight out. So we'll see what happens in the future. We'll see what's going to go. Now the nice thing is Craig, our next month's Gamer Tuesday lands right during E3. So that's going to make it really interesting. I believe it's June 11th is going to be the next time. So that's going to be a lot of fun, where we'll actually get to recap that day what happens from all the major conferences. Yeah, Tuesday, June 10th, Nintendo will be having their conference 9 a.m. Monday, June 9th, Microsoft, in this order, Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, and Sony. So the nice thing is come next month, we'll be rehashing this entire conversation all 2 hours, and we're going to talk about exactly who came out strong and who needs to do some improvements.
All right, and when we come back, some of the news for May. Nintendo's Tamagotchi Life doesn't allow same-sex relationships. Wow. We'll continue on with that, stories and more right after this.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all.
Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hello there, this is your London Minute. Voice memo. Classic. Apples and pears mean stairs. Rabbit and pork, talk. That's a sampling of Cockney rhyming slang, spoken in parts of London. Now that you've got the hang of some old phrases, how about the Urban Dictionary for acquiring some modern dialect? Go to www.urbandictionary.com. The term crud butter, for example, has been introduced into our house. That's when crumbs from toast ends up in the butter or jam. The Urban Dictionary is packed full of gems, but caution, it's rude in places. But that aside, it's expressive. If you want to give praise to man or dog, just say, "You're the man now, dog." There is a problem with the Urban Dictionary. It has a way of colliding with the English accent. But I'm learning so much. To be quiggly is good. To be textjected, that is, to be rejected via a text, well, that's bad. I'm mutton speaking as lamb, and I'm loving it. Would your company like to sponsor the Talking Technology column, my London Minute voice memo? Please get in touch via my website, loveyourcomputer.co.uk. I'll see you over on Twitter. I'm at Computer Tweety. This is Patricia Reichel for Computer America.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. We are 33 minutes into the hour and the second hour of the Computer America Show. Craig and I are talking to Grayson Hamilton on our Gamer Tuesday. We're trying to figure out what Nintendo's going to do next. Nobody still knows. They're still going to try and do... actually, it's interesting because, depending on your generation, Nintendo is still the name for every gaming system on the planet. Like my father still calls everything a Nintendo.
Yeah. You mean in a sense like Nintendo has just become synonymous with video games?
Yeah, so it's going to be hard to see that brand die, and I don't think they ever will be. And they haven't come out with any games in years, or at least anything that I consider groundbreaking, or the Halos of the world. And it's kind of worrisome. Oh, and almost before I forget, if you guys want to get in on this conversation, give us a call, 347-884-8881. That number again, 347-884-8881 will get you on and get you through. You can also shoot us an email, live@computeramerica.com. You can visit us over at computeramerica.com in our live interactive add-on chat room over there. I'm there. I think Grayson's there. Craig's there. And on that same page, you can watch our live video of me in my Batman shirt. Grayson sitting extremely still Stillwell talking, Craig and his high-speed webcam firewall, all of which brought to you by Otherworld Computing. Great stuff from great people for your Mac upgrading pleasure over at macsales.com. Check them out. You won't be disappointed.
Yes, that's very true. So let's talk a little bit about some of the newsy items here, and this very first one, gaming news for May. Nintendo's, I always thought Tamagotchi, but it's Tamagotchi, okay? Well, Tamagotchi Life doesn't allow same-sex relationships, and evidently Nintendo's responded, but you say very, very badly.
Well, it's one of those things where I don't think and because Nintendo is an Eastern-based company, it's not that they're not in touch with the Western culture, but obviously, we can all agree that, that domestic rights, and especially gay marriage rights, has been a hot-button issue for a long time. It's become just the front line. It's debate. It's still going on. And states are starting, have already begun, and there's going to be more happening. Well, the funny thing is that same debate's creeped its way into the gaming world as well, because gaming, in a sense, parallels reality. That's why we find catharsis in it in many ways. So when that parallel does not carry with certain aspects that are becoming reality, we start to have some issues. And one of those is the idea of being able to have same-sex relationships. BioWare actually touched on this issue with Mass Effect, with their trilogy, because you could actually start a same-sex relationship in that game, and they caught a little bit of flack for it, but they handled it beautifully. They had a good marketing department, or I really should say PR department, that understood and made it very clear that they are pro-gay marriage and that they are in support of alternate lifestyles, and they wish to support it. And when you're on that front, yeah, that can only be good news for your games. Now, Tamagotchi Life is just it's a little alternate universe on your Wii U in which your Mii characters, the little avatars that you create that resemble yourself, they all inhabit this world, and they can interact, and kind of like a Sims game, you can hang out, play sports, you can date, and you can have relationships. Well, unfortunately, you're not able to have relationships with someone of the same sex. And there was a fan-made petition that they made against Nintendo that was pleading to reverse this policy in Tamagotchi Life. Nintendo responded with a statement to the Associated Press, and the problem is not that it's not that they're against it. At no point did they say that they are against gay marriage. That's not the issue. Mm-hmm. It's just a very tone-deaf message where it's so spun that it doesn't even answer the real plea to begin with. So this guy wanted he simply wanted them to take this restriction away and hope that they could get that could be a hot fix for all we know. I'm not a computer scientist, but Nintendo's response was, quote, "Nintendo never intended to make any form of social commentary with the launch of Tamagotchi Life. The relationship options in the game represent a playful alternate world rather than a real-life simulation. We hope that all of our fans will see that Tamagotchi Life was intended to be a whimsical and quirky game, and that we were absolutely not trying to provide social commentary." Now, I understand that they need to cover their bases, that they need to be professional, and that they can't weigh one way or the other. I've written PR statements before, and you have to put a lot of really pointless jargon in before your higher-ups will sign off on it.
Huh.
Unfortunately, that's not how it works, or the reception is not how really they wanted to receive it, especially in the West, because we wanted a yes or a no answer. That paragraph, that response, is not a yes or no answer. They didn't give a reason for why it wasn't in it. They didn't give a reason they didn't give a we understand the needs of our gamers, that we are going to explore this issue. They didn't really give us any sort of saying, we are now reacting to your response in this manner. If they wanted to say, no, we're not going to change anything, they could say that. That's fine. That's within their rights. If they wanted to say, we are looking into it, to see if we can change it. That would also be nice. So it's a very, and one way to put it, it's a very tone-deaf message. I don't think they quite understood the gravity behind this kind of fan-made petition, and I don't think they were ready to anticipate such a kind of a response to it. And the thing is this is a serious issue, and I don't try to make light of the rights of basic human rights and the ability to be open about yourself and who you wish to be romantic with, and I understand that video games never intend for that to be the case. They don't want to make that kind of social commentary, but in cases like these, it's important to be sensitive about your community, the people who play your games. And in times like these, it's complicated. I know Nintendo doesn't want to offend people in the east, on the eastern side of the world where they're developed, where they originated from. But I also understand they need to appease their consumers in the western side of the world where a lot of their products sell. And in cases like these, it's a very big gray area. So it's difficult to, and I'm not placing blame on either way, because I know that they weren't. You can't really blame Nintendo for this because this was never in their, I think, in their minds when they set out and created this game. I don't think I just think they misunderstood because they didn't expect it to be such a big issue, and that's where. It's not their fault. It's just that's where they need to understand their markets. And in the United States, same-sex relationships are a major issue now. Now that we are out there, it's in the front. They're gaining the rights legally, so they feel like they need to be represented, ethically and in I guess in their entertainment. And
I mean, it affects all areas. I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and of course,
So, it wasn't.
Whoops! Did we just lose Gray? Gray, are you there?
I hope not.
Well, no,
It looks like he's there.
He just faded out.
I wonder if he's still talking. Like he's probably still talking to himself and didn't realize he wasn't. He'll come back in a second and be like, and that was how the story went.
Yeah, no, we were talking. Gray just kind of fizzled out. Let's see if we can get him back. Gray, you there? Can you hear us? Uh-oh. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, we will try to get Gray back on momentarily, and now that he doesn't, he's not hearing us.
Well,
let me see. See if I can. Let me see. Why don't we do this? Well, let me just see if I can.
Be careful kicking him out, because you kick him out, he may not come back.
Yeah, no. Well, you think so? I won't kick him out.
Oh.
No. Well, we can't. He's gone. All right.
Well, yeah, his computer must have frozen. He'll be back any second. Watch.
Well, you listen to the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, on the Blog Talk Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Oh, there he is. He's back now. Hey, Gray, you back there now?
Hey, looks like I got.
Yeah,
I lost it there for a second.
You did. You lost it. So, so I don't know where you were. I mean, I don't know if you knew where you were. We were talking about Nintendo and specifically. Why don't you pick it up again? Because where you thought you last left off.
I'm not sure where I got cut, but I can just sum it up quickly and say it's a sensitive issue. And I think they weren't expecting it for gamers to react in such a sensitive manner, but that's just a means of they need to understand the Western market a bit more, that this is a big issue in our world today that's coming out right now, and it's it's spreading to other areas. So that just needs to be another thing that they need to, that not just Nintendo but everywhere, game developers, publishers, everyone needs to be aware of that aspect of our culture, the gay culture, is becoming represented both legally, ethically, business-wise, that they are part of our culture and that they are coming into games, and so they need to have their own representation. And I'm for it. So I hope Nintendo just in the future will keep that in mind when looking in the social aspect of their games.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so let's see where that leaves us now. I would say the next top. Which no, we don't have time to do all the topics because we get less than 15 minutes left. So which one would you like to talk about?
I'm going to switch over to the Watch Dogs issue because this has really just been getting on my nerves. Over this past month, Microsoft and Sony have made reports, have come out and trying to get our confidence in saying Watch Dogs is going to run 1080p, 60 frames per second. You can stamp our name on it. It's going to happen. That was about 3 weeks ago. And then actually, I think it was an insider at Ubisoft said that they're having trouble getting to that aspect for Xbox One. Now, Ubisoft confirms that there's a disparity between the PS4 and the Xbox One. Right now, they can get Watch Dogs at 900p on the PlayStation 4, and they can only get it to 792p on the Xbox One. I want to tell everyone right now, these numbers and any other numbers that they throw out from now until Watch Dogs is released are complete garbage. And this debate needs to stop now. And I think many other gamers out there are getting incredibly tired of this. And here's why. I don't care how good it looks between a PS4 and an Xbox One. All I care about is, can I play the game already? Just give it to me.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. I can guarantee you, the people, the voices, the volume of the people who are going to get angry that there's a 108p difference between PS4 and Xbox One will be quickly silenced by the huge, colossal amount of people that are going to be saying this game is awesome. We don't need to stop. Just go home. Because graphics, and I'm telling you this, we have hit that point. And if you can honestly be able to tell me the difference 108p will make between two consoles, if you are that dedicated, then, and this is coming from me, you need to go on a date with a girl.
You need a date.
Because at that point, you are splitting hairs on an anatomical level.
So the big deal is it's not running on 1080p, and that's it?
Well, first it started off saying that they couldn't get it to 1080p on either system. Now, I mean, I've seen games at 720 and 1080, and I'll tell you what, it's a diminishing returns in terms of the difference. It still looks really good.
Right.
So if they're telling me that Watch Dogs will max out at 900p on my 52-inch LED screen, again, I'm not going to be angry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to feel like they cheated me out of 180p. Believe me. The only times I would feel cheated is if the game came with a staggering amount of bugs, if there was if one of the game systems was changed last minute and it didn't offer me the things I wanted, if the smart device that he uses in this game can't do the things that I want it to, or that they touted when they showed it off at E3, those are things that you feel cheated on. 108p on a television screen is not something that we should be.
Yeah.
We should drop this debate, because it's gotten this point as both these systems look really pretty. Everything looks really pretty. We don't need to stress over the difference between 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second, between 900p and a 1080p, because as we've talked about, 1080p is right about the human limit. You go any further than 1080p, your eye cannot distinguish the difference. So if that's the issue, I don't need to care. I don't really need to care about 900p or 1080p. I just want a good game. I know it's going to look good, so we don't need to start throwing these numbers out there. It's just not worth it. We are wasting time.
What about the 4K televisions? Do you think what is 4K going to be rated at?
And that's honestly, I couldn't tell you. I haven't even had the chance of playing around with a 4K television. I've seen pictures, and yes, they look gorgeous. It's kind of like, what are those pictures they make that like 2.8 gigapixel, where it's like that someone takes a huge landscape photo and you can zoom in miles away to like a very minute thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that. I mean, that would be cool in a sense, but like I said, when you look at those pictures from a back point, it's like I can't even tell there's a person. Oh, well, now that you zoomed in to 20 times the human eye, yeah, I see him.
It's there.
He's right there, but at a 4K regular distance, I couldn't. He was half an atom at the regular picture. No, I can't tell the difference. You know, sure, it's going to look pretty, and that's all. I mean, and that's great, but we just need to stop this. We really do. Resolution is a number. Frame rate is a number. That's it. It has no bearing on the game itself. So please, everyone, let's just get the game out. And then we can talk about how awesome it is or how cheated we are from other things. But let's just stop worrying about the graphics. So I will get off my soapbox now at this point.
Do you need a moment, Grayson? Because we could take a quick break and give you a moment.
Hold on, I gotta do my woosah.
Woosah.
All right. And back to the loving place.
The happy place. All the loving, happy trees.
Yeah. We can switch gears. This also one I do want to mention because this was actually kind of interesting. Was this past week, Sony actually announced, or they rather revealed, the true purpose for the DualShock 4 light bar. For those of you who don't know what that is, a PlayStation 4 controller has a opaque light bar that sits on the back of the controller. It can be customized in terms of color. It changes color depending on what player you are, what games you're playing. That's really all it seemed to do. And a lot of people were wondering what this thing is for. They thought it was motion control. Actually has a much more important aspect to it, is that it's actually a major component that works in tandem with Sony's virtual reality headset Project Morpheus. This is the Oculus Rift competitor.
Wow.
And it's designed to be specific with the PlayStation 4. So this is really, now what makes this important is the VR headset, which we've known about, but they haven't shown us anything, so we're not really sure what's coming, but we thought it was just going to be another peripheral. Like, this is an expensive peripheral that you would buy, and there would be some cool things you could do with it, but it wasn't going to be a lot. Now, we have to change that perspective on it, because they put the light bar, if that's meant to work with Project Morpheus, this comes in every single controller that comes with the PlayStation 4. That means they have significant investment in this headset. They don't just think it's going to come out and people are going to like it. They expect a majority of PS4 owners to get Project Morpheus. And see, that's what's really interesting, is they couldn't tell us for the longest time that the tracking light was for virtual reality. And now that they've been able to finally tell us that shows me, and I think it shows a lot of other people, that they're serious about their headset. So that might be something that they're going to show off at E3, which I think would be perfect timing now that we know that there's a lot more to this project than we expect. Obviously, there has been some tech demos out there where you can see how Project Morpheus works. If you've seen the Oculus Rift, it works actually about 95% the same way. Mm-hmm. But having it connected to the PlayStation 4 controller is a very good step. I think it's a step in the right direction, especially considering the limitations that the Oculus has in terms of movement. I mean, you can look around, and then having to create a new movement system is difficult for virtual reality. But if you tether it to a controller like the PlayStation 4 DualShock, well, that takes care of your mobility problem entirely, and that just means you use your head to be able to look around to really get in depth and experience virtual reality as we used to / intend to in the near future. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be. I'm really interested to see what they do with this, and I hope there's a demonstration at E3. Even if it doesn't have to be the press conference, but I would like to see a booth, or I'd like to see them demoing it after their conference.
Oh, wow. Just we have only about 5 minutes left, so just a quick thing. I know artist H.R. Geiger, very famous for.
Yeah, man, I gotta pour one out for him. And I know this isn't technically gaming news, but I will tell you, his work since the 70s has been influential for horror games. Actually, the horror market in general. He has been a huge inspiration for entertainment, for horror, and and I'm talking about I know John Romero.
Lost him again.
Oh no. Well, H.R. Geiger, famous for the alien depiction of the alien from Alien.
Alien.
Exactly. With these horrific, beautiful images that he drew, and evidently he is dead now at 74.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. So I know and Grayson wanted to give it a mention, and again, he just passed away just a day or so ago, and sort of like taking hats up because he really set the standard for these horrific alien creatures that appeared in not only the Alien movie but in other movies as well, and of course Prometheus, which is really a spin-off, a prequel to the Alien
series. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, he did some amazing work, and that's it. So, well, listen, we're about. Oh, there is Grayson. Hey, welcome back, Grayson. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
And I'm looking.
I got halfway through my tirade on H.R. Geiger before I realized they're not listening to me. I'm not even.
They're gone.
I'm gone. So let me just back that up real quick because I know we're coming to the end of the hour. A lot of games, and H.R. Geiger was a huge inspiration, not just for games but for horror genre. Fantastic guy. I mean, he did a lot of his inspiration for John Romero, who did a lot of the artwork for Doom. I mean, Geiger, his main work that he's known for a lot of people is that his artwork inspired Alien.
Yes.
And he actually mentioned once that his artwork stems a lot from his nightmares that he has as a teenager, which begs the question: what kind of messed up nightmares is this guy having?
Yeah. What
if you're having nightmares that creates aliens
like that?
I get this man on some Prozac or something.
Some kind of good drugs. Yep.
Because I mean, I don't. And the thing is just look him up. Look up Geiger.
Yeah.
You Google him and you'll see his artwork. I mean, it's some very. I don't want to say disturbing, but it's dark.
Things.
It's dark, you know. And I mean, I hope he wasn't suffering from anything, but I give him so much respect, and Alien's my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
And Geiger is just amazing concept artist, and his stuff has spread all throughout the gaming industry, from Silent Hill, Stalker. I mean, there's tons and tons of games that can be traced back to Geiger for his work. So I will say, I pour one out for him. He will be missed, but he will never ever be forgotten.
There you go.
So,
well, Ray,
he's off to haunting someone else's nightmare.
90 seconds.
God, if he shows up in my nightmares, help me. God help me.
Well, we're out of time. Gray, again, I want to thank you. Stay with us. Obviously, we have our after show that we'll hear on our live streaming video. Again, we will see you next month. I say probably right after or just before E3, right? Are we talking about it? Yeah, exactly.
You'll see me during E3.
During it, yes, during E3. All right, and that about wraps up the show for tonight.
60 seconds.
And tomorrow night we have Pop Zara's going to be with us here. I know Nate Evans. Yeah, he's a really cool guy, and he's got some great topics to talk about. And he's going to be joining us for both hours on tomorrow night's show. And don't forget to check out our contest. It's back in full swing at our contest page at computeramerica.com. Enter in all of our contests. We'll have a new show reminder winner of the week. That's all coming up on Friday. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy.
Squiffy or disconnected.
Yeah. We will see you tomorrow night. Take care. Have a good one. Relax. Say goodnight,
And
Charles.
Grayson. Night, everybody.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, and we're out. And Gray, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I think the reason why I was cutting out is it actually just started storming here.
Oh, I saw a fan spinning around or something.
Oh, my crappy webcam turns on every time. I have to mute it.
All right, let's
Go away, webcam. Yeah.
let me say everybody in the chat room. See you tomorrow. Okay, poof, and we'll log off over there. And okay, so we're going to say goodnight again. Gray, thanks a bunch, and we look for in June at E3. That's going to be a fun show.
Absolutely, it's going to be fantastic. And we don't even worry about topics. The whole show is just going to be E3.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, everybody, and watching our Hangouts, we'll say goodnight, and we'll see you tomorrow.